Hi, everybody. It's Deanna with toolsofenergyprotection.com, your energy shift expert and Akashic Records advisor. How's everybody doing tonight? Today is May 25th, 2021, and I'm going to check here just to make sure that we have. Expert. There we go. And I'd like to thank everybody for joining me tonight. And first of all, I'd like to address my absence, my recent absence, and then we're going to get on with tonight's topic. And we're going to talk about how do you know whether you're trusting self-love or whether you're giving into your shadow self. So I want to thank each and every one of you for your support over the last couple of weeks. I was doing some very deep shadow work a couple of weeks ago, and it stimulated my personal health crisis. So I have not been well for about 2 weeks, and today is my first day back in the saddle, and I'm really super excited to be back with you. So I hope that if you're working on your shadow self right now, that you haven't experienced any physical health setbacks, but please know that your mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, and energy bodies are all one thing. And by dividing them, it's only a way to look at it, to qualify it and quantify it and be able to talk about it. But it is really just one thing. So I'd like to start uh, again just by thanking all of you for being with me and being patient and getting your appointments rescheduled over the last couple of weeks. All right, tonight is May 25th, 2021, and I'd like to talk to you tonight about how emotions right now are really coming to a head. So, the full moon will start tomorrow night, and it's going to help us uh, usher in the closing of another door. This year, we've been working on ourselves quite a bit, our inner children self, our darker side self, and progressing that so that we can evolve as empaths, highly sensitive people, star seeds, to really bring the light into this world. And you cannot bring this light of God's Spirit or Source into this world, which needs it so desperately right now, if you yourself are experiencing your shadow self or your darker side self. So the emotions really are coming to a head. And so the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to give thanks in your life if you've made any major progress emotionally in the self-love department over the last 5 or 6 months. It's been a huge process for many of us. But take a moment to take a breath and see what things you've released from your life, how you might be feeling better, what's the different choices that you're taking, and how are you embracing your life. All right, so I did ask Spirit, I did ask my guides to tell me what are some areas of self-love that to talk about. And one of the self-love areas is just simply trusting ourselves. And so if you get caught up in a particular cycle, you don't know which way is up, and you often feel stuck. And my battle cry up until 2 weeks ago is, I'm so done. And now I understand why I had that battle cry for so long and why I was ready to go to the next world and just finish my mission here. And now I'm totally aware of what that reason was. And it is so owie. However, over the last 2 weeks, I scraped the bottom of the barrel and was able to identify why it was I was having trouble. And basically, the bottom line is boundaries. If you don't have boundaries with yourself, how can you have boundaries with others? And how can you have boundaries with yourself if you don't trust yourself and if you don't love yourself? So here's what that cycle looks like. If you have a notebook or if you want to put notes in your phone, now would be a good time. So, first of all, the human brain clings very hard to what it is taught early in its life. The human brain is a dynamic machine, if you want to call it that, or organism, and it is designed to absorb everything that is going on around it from the time it is conceived until about age 7. And the brain is wiring and mapping itself during that time. So whatever input that human brain experiences, it patterns, and that becomes the pattern for the life of the human person that has that brain. Think about that. If you grew up being shamed, guilted, told you were bad or wrong, told that your spiritual gifts were bad or wrong, or you were unable to be with people who could truly love you or nurture you, then you grew up in basically a shadowboxing environment, meaning that you did not know because your frontal lobe wasn't fully developed yet. You didn't know what was right and you didn't know what was wrong, but you knew that the soul inside of you felt devastated, unwanted, abandoned, unloved, and other words along that line. And so your human soul or your inner child began to cringe and basically go back in the fetal position, tucking and ducking, not knowing where true love would come from, or what true love was, or being able to trust yourself. And so once you reached about age 7, the human brain cements all that information in, and now it has a template from which to work, for better or for worse. And it begins to navigate its world with that template, and it begins to experience things. And so if it experiences stimulus A, it goes into the template and says, oh, this is how we're to react to stimulus A. And so it does. And then it experiences a result. So that's the first part. Then, if we go on to the second part is once you experience something in your immediate reality, then you perceive that that is happening to you. And you perceive that experience. And that experience will reinforce a belief. If you believe that you don't deserve love, that experience will reinforce it. If you believe that you don't deserve to have money, that experience will reinforce it. If you believe that you don't deserve to have a healthy, loving relationship with another adult, or with your own children, or with your parents, then that experience will reinforce it. So that's step number 2. So step number 1 is when something happens to us, our training from early childhood comes into play and projects it onto our current reality, making us bad, wrong, guilty, or the like, less than positive. Then, once we've experienced that reality, we use that reality to drive our self-esteem. And we say things like, we see that reality that's happened to us and we observe it. And we say, so I see it must be true. I am not any good. I don't deserve to be loved. I don't deserve to have boundaries and stand up for myself. I don't deserve to keep my own energy to myself. And so we give it. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So first there's an outside stimulus of what happens to us. Then we go into our template by which we were taught to judge ourselves. and judge where we are in time and space, and we say, oh, that experience proves that X must be true. And then we take that judgment upon ourselves and see it as true. And then we become stuck over time. Because if you feel that you're stuck, you become accustomed to a mental prison and feel that you can't get out. And then the next step happens, which, as a divine being, we attract to ourselves things that we desire to have in our reality that reinforce our security. We project things out into the world to draw to ourselves, to create a reality that will make us feel secure, or as I like to call it, uncomfortably comfortable. So if you've been surrounded for years by people that you can't trust, chances are you don't trust yourself. And so if you make a decision based on thinking you can trust yourself, which allows other people to take advantage of you, you then create a reality to experience which proves that you are not trustworthy, which in a weird way makes you feel safe or uncomfortably comfortable. So if it is your desire to break out of this cycle, the first thing you must do is to identify your thought patterns. What are your thought patterns? Do you think that you don't deserve things? Do you think that you'll never obtain wealth? Do you think that you'll never obtain health or well-being? Or do you think that you will never be able to have a loving relationship, be it with a platonic friend or a lover, a partner, a spouse, a child, whoever it might be? So tonight, my message to you is to unlock yourself from your mental prison. Take steps to understand how you perceive things and ask yourself, is it really true? Or is it something that I've been taught to perceive? Am I drawing experiences to myself, negative ones? Do I perceive that I must struggle in order to be successful in my life? Therefore, if I'm not struggling, I don't feel successful. Therefore, I must create more struggling. I hope this is clear to you tonight. And please remember that this is the Gemini season. And Geminis have two distinct personalities according to the zodiac. So you may be playing with Gemini energy right now. Part of you may be saying, I deserve so much more in my life. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be able to pay my bills. I deserve to have happy, fulfilling relationships. But the other side of you may be telling you that you're not worthy. And then, of course, you can choose to create either one. So I encourage you to look at your thought process. Think about what you desire in your life. What thoughts are you putting out into the universe that are creating a reality that makes you feel safe, although maybe uncomfortable? And then begin to move forward. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you again next week. I will be here again on Tuesday. And I'm going to be moving the time from 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time to 6 p.m. Mountain Time so that I might share some more time with my family. Thank you again. And if you're getting into the end of the broadcast, please wait and it will repost and you can hit replay. I will also be reposting this for my YouTube audience and with an article to toolsofenergyprotection.com. I am restricting the number of one-to-one appointments for a while until I can fully regain my health. But I do encourage you to join me in upcoming classes and events, which I will post on my website at toolsofenergyprotection.com. Thank you and have a good night.